And what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. It is Monday, July the 16th, and Monday Night Raw came to us from Buffalo, New York, following a disastrous Extreme Rules. And WWE, you just don't get it, do you? You don't get it. I love you. I always have and I always will. And that's why I raised this hammer. To defend the honor of professional wrestling and bring the hammer down on an episode of Monday Night Raw when they give me piece of shit shows like this one, and it all starts right here and right now on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, and Podbean, baby, where we pull no punches and there is no sugar to sweeten the blow. It's the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Nick Nightmare. Along with me is my trusty tag team, the Hammer of Reason, because reason will prevail on this show. This is Thor the Sledgehammer, the wrestling god of thunder and the official sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. My little buddy and most trusted companion in the whole entire world, the world heavyweight champion of all the microphones in all the world, apparently the only championship in all of professional wrestling that matters at all is around the shiny chrome dome head of Mr. Blue, the snowball microphone. Thank you guys for checking out this Raw review tonight, and rest in peace to Masasaito. You know, we salute you always. Rest in peace. Famous wrestler from Japan. Had a little bit of a stint in the WWE. Always want to pay respects to those that paved the way for those of us that do this thing right now. But anybody in the world of professional wrestling will tell you right now that WWE, for the first time maybe in its history, is not the place you want to be. You look at a show like tonight's Monday Night Raw, and it is apparent and it is clear as the blue paint on my wall behind me that Vince McMahon is brain dead. Now, we've all said, you know, he's a senile old man and he's losing his touch on the pulse of the wrestling community. It's way beyond that. The man is legitimately brain dead. How could he possibly assume for one fraction of a second that he could put Roman Reigns in a match with Drew McIntyre and Finn Balor, have Roman Reigns win that match, and the fans would be okay with it? How could he assume the very same thing when you put the hottest commodity on Monday Night Raw, being Seth Rollins, in the main event with Elias, Raw's most underutilized talent, and the robotic and emotionless, soulless, lifeless, boring Trashley? And you want to give it to boring Trashley over Seth Rollins. The fact that Seth Rollins did not win this fucking match tonight, putting him in a one-on-one match against Roman Reigns where he could win and go on and face the Beast Brock Lesnar where he belongs in the main event at SummerSlam, because there's been nobody on Monday Night Raw in 2018 that has been putting on anything near what Seth Rollins has been doing on Monday Night Raw. The legit one and only reason to be watching this show rests over my right shoulder for you all to see. Vince McMahon does not have respect for Seth Rollins. He does not believe Seth Rollins can give you a viable match with the Beast Brock Lesnar, or does he really just have both of his favorite balls in his hand and he just won't let them go? He needs the human headband to go up against the dog everybody wants to be put down one more time. We're going to have a repeat of the most uninteresting, overbooked match, over-promoted match that the wrestling world doesn't want to see, and you're going to do it again? You think by having them earn their spot, by going over on superstars that are truly deserving of that spotlight, you think that's going to make the fans get behind them? Oh, they earned it by winning a triple threat match. Who gives a shit? The minute the whole opening segment came to a close, and we knew what tonight's events were going to entail, I turned to my wife and I swear on my life and my family, because this is 100% the truth, and I called the entire show to her as it pertains to the triple threats. I told her exactly what was going to happen, and it went down before your eyes exactly as I called it at my dinner table. I wanted to stop eating immediately as I came to the realization that Vince McMahon found what he deems a clever way to hit the repeat button on a match that nobody wanted to see in the first place. And that was the centerpiece, the focal point of Monday Night Raw. And in its wake, as a casualty, lies Seth Rollins, lies Finn Balor, lies Drew McIntyre, and Elias. All casualties. Undeserved of this shame that they have to be put for. How do you think Seth Rollins feels tonight? He was disrespected by the crowd in the main event in Pittsburgh last night at Extreme Rules, and now tonight he's being disrespected by the very company that employs him. He is the one and only reason that anybody in Buffalo even showed up to the show tonight. Because for the rest of Monday Night Raw, with the exception of Ronda Rousey getting a little rowdy, which we'll get into that because that's a whole nother reason to start smashing shit with this hammer. Nobody gave a shit about anything on Monday Night Raw, live in that crowd in Buffalo, New York, unless it had something to do with Seth Rollins. That's the only time this crowd came awake. When this man's theme song hit, this arena exploded. Every single time when he came on the screen to do his little interview, everybody was into it. The multiple times during the main event, he came within a fraction of a second of actually winning and going on to this number one contender match next week, which is now a complete farce. You think for 1 minute either Roman Reigns or Bobby Lashley is going to go over clean on one another? This match is going to have some type of a no contest fuck finish. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get a triple threat, because how can you choose between your balls, right? You got your left ball, and you got your right ball, you got your Reigns and your Lashley, and you got your one in each hand. And though you're sitting there playing with them and it feels all good, and nobody wants to see you do this, but you're doing it for the world to see, you got your balls in your hand. Like, how do you choose one over the other? So you're just going to let them both drop and see which one falls first? Like, I don't understand. How is he going to be able to choose? I have a strange feeling we're going to get a triple threat match, but in the end, Braun Strowman will be cashing in his money in the bank at SummerSlam. That is the only way to save this company. Everything that happened tonight, everything, even Paul Heyman, with a very rare, boring appearance, in my opinion, on Monday Night Raw. I'm a big Paul Heyman guy, just like most of you guys out there, and I'm sure everybody was all happy to see Paul Heyman, and maybe some of yous got into him talking about Brock Lesnar, turning the whole opening segment of Monday Night Raw into a fucking commercial for the UFC. Brock Lesnar's still not here. He still is the champion. Kurt Angle did nothing about it but make a main event against an unknown opponent and then gift us with these two triple threat matches. They could have done it any way they want to. You didn't want to do it in a tournament situation here because that would require too much thought on the part of the WWE to get Roman and Bobby Lashley to the finals. It would be too much work for them to do. The end result would still be the end result, no matter which way they broke this down. You had all 6 guys come out. You could have had a 6-man over-the-top rope challenge, a 6-man gauntlet match, anything you wanted. A 6-man mini rumble. Why not? You like to ruin the specialness of everything. Why not have a mini Raw Rumble for the number one contendership? Any way you look at it, Reigns and Lashley probably would have double eliminated each other at the finish of any one of these scenarios. Just so that we can make this SummerSlam thing for Brock Lesnar. Absolute garbage. You want to talk about a dumpster fire? This is beyond a dumpster fire, you people. You need to understand that this is by far the worst condition I have seen Raw in a long time. Now, we're not talking about match quality because I'll be honest, both matches, as far as it pertains to the triple threats, were good for triple threat matches. But you already knew going in, well, at least I knew going in, who was going to win, so I was not invested, especially when my fears became a reality. There is no reason for this to be happening again. They could have really just came out and announced that Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns were being named the challengers for Brock Lesnar's Universal Championship, and you would have gotten the same response, because nobody gives a shit. Did you hear how the crowd deflated at the end of this night when Bobby Lashley got the pin and Seth Rollins did not win? Talk about sucking the life right out of a crowd. You took the whole entire air right out of the arena in Buffalo, New York. I will never understand it to this day. Just like I don't understand what the hell they're doing with Sasha Banks and Bayley. On again, off again. It's will they, won't they? Are we watching a high school drama on the CW network? Or are we watching Monday Night Raw? What the fuck am I watching here? This ain't Saved by the Bell. I don't give a shit about this. I love you, you love me. You all knew what I was doing at the start of the show. Sasha Banks, the boss. The aggressor in this situation, the one that's been losing her patience, the one that's been snapping more than anything. And now she's going to come out. We're going to drop the whole Dr. Shelby thing, and she's going to profess her love for Bayley. I love you, and I've always loved you. Yeah, I love you so much, I want to punch you right in the face. Do you ever love something so much you want to punch him in the mouth? I've never felt that much love. Because that's the kind of love we've been seeing between these two. I love you? Seriously? Is Vince McMahon looking in the mirror when he's writing this segment and he's talking to himself through the two people in the segment? I do not understand this show. Bobby Roode. We had a Bobby Roode sighting. This guy feels like should be in contention for the Intercontinental Championship. Why? I don't even want him on my fucking wall anymore. This inglorious bastard has done nothing since coming to Monday Night Raw. His run on SmackDown Live was mediocre at best, and he wants to come out here and start challenging Dolph Ziggler. Never mind the fact that we've seen this all already on SmackDown Live. Let's not leave that little nugget out of the equation, that we're just retreading old territory once again because they don't know what the hell to do with anybody. You got 6 people in this triple threat double match scenario that shouldn't be being wasted. Why not have Elias involved for the Intercontinental Championship somehow? Drew McIntyre's involvement, fine. I'm okay with that. Finn Balor, why is he walking in on this? I don't understand. And for that point, Bobby Roode wants to come out during the Intercontinental Championship promo by Dolph Ziggler, which was putting everybody to sleep anyway, so it didn't make a difference. Why didn't he come out to challenge for the Universal Championship and a shot at Brock Lesnar? Do you have no value in yourself, bro? Shooting low? I'll start with Dolph and then I'll worry about that. You got everybody and their mother calling their shot at Brock Lesnar. Why not? Why not add Bobby? Why not add Titus? Why not let the Authors of Pain come out? Why not let anybody come out? Let Alexa Bliss come out. Throw her fucking tits in the hat for it. Nothing makes sense on Monday Night Raw anymore. This show was a fucking disaster. It was an abomination on top of a disaster. I don't even really know where to begin as far as covering this piece of shit. I don't want to even talk about it. Do you want me to talk about the tag team division? Do you want me to talk about the B team getting a token win over the Ascension? Does it mean anything? The Ascension hasn't meant dick on Monday Night Raw since the first night they came up. What does beating the Ascension mean for the B team? Nothing. All to establish a rematch next week for the Eaters of Worlds They're getting their rematch clause. They're calling in on it next week. You got SummerSlam coming up in a couple weeks, but you're having a tag team championship rematch on Raw next week. The only way I will accept this, not that I'm really accepting of it at all, because I don't understand why they gave the belts to the B team. The only way this down the line, in my opinion, if I were booking it and they gave me this garbage and I had to salvage it, I would make the Eaters of Worlds lose on Monday Night Raw next week to the B team, which would lead to an ultimate deletion at SummerSlam for the World Tag Team Championships. At least make it interesting. Give me the real Woken Matt Hardy. Go back to the compound thing. You got 4 tremendous talents with the charisma to get this thing over. That would be truly entertaining, and I would make all of this that I've had to be put through with the Tag Team Championships for the last couple of weeks, it would make it all wash away. And give Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt complete control of the whole thing. Don't put your grubby little fingers on it. Just let him do his thing. And it'll be probably the best segment of all of SummerSlam. Mojo Rawley versus Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze, they finally decide to use him because he doesn't have a tag team partner. See how much they hate tag teams? If Fandango wasn't hurt, do you think we would have seen Tyler Breeze tonight get squashed by Mojo Rawley? No. Because he would have still been part of a tag team, so they don't want to use him. Tyler Breeze and his potential as a single star is way greater. His mileage goes way further than a Mojo Rawley could ever even come close to. And you're putting Mojo Rawley over one of the best and, again, most underappreciated and underutilized wrestlers on the entire roster, regardless of which brand he was on. Tyler Breeze deserves better than this. The crowd was dead. Silent. You want to talk dead? These people weren't even on their phones. I legit think these people were absolutely asleep. At one point, I could have sworn that I heard that this show was being sponsored by Ambien. And I wouldn't be surprised that each and every single person that walked through the gate tonight got a free sample and was told to take it at the start of tonight's show. Maybe the WWE thought it would bring everybody into a nice, calm, lulling state so that they would be more accepting of Roman and Lashley. But it backfired, and your stupid programming and your lackluster writing and your repetitive garbage put everybody to sleep tonight. It was a struggle for me on my couch to get through this show. We got to about 10:30 and I'm like, this show is still on. I felt like this was Extreme Rules all over again. Only worse. If that's even possible. And of course it is, because you guys watched it just like I did. Braun Strowman coming out talking about waiting in the wings for Brock Lesnar. Not much talk about Kevin Owens. Little bit of an injury update. Seemed like they didn't care. Not much of a focus on him or worry about him, really. That kind of was upsetting to me. Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. Mickie James looking pretty hot tonight. Just being honest about it. I just have to give her props and give her credit because she's walking around on the Raw roster with girls half her age and she looks better than half of them. So, props to Mickie James for looking good, but I don't understand why I'm seeing you standing next to Alexa Bliss. I would much rather not see you at all, no matter how good you might look tonight. Get over it. It's done. Alexa should be moving on in a singles capacity. She don't need a lackey. The only reason they're giving her a lackey or a companion is so that Alexa don't have to take the bumps. It's making her look even worse on a weekly basis. It's hurting me as a fan of Alexa Bliss to see her being utilized in this way. Whether it's a political thing and Alexa really doesn't want to do much work, I don't even really want to know what the truth is behind that. But the fact is, the way it comes off on TV, she's always got somebody there to take the really bad bumps and to take all of the abuse while Alexa watches in fear from the top of the ramp, and we get all the same shit over and over again. But that's not the worst part of the whole segment. The worst part of this whole thing is the fact that Ronda Rousey is suspended from Monday Night Raw. She makes the excuse that she's going to be at Extreme Rules because she's going to buy a ticket. And she's not suspended from Extreme Rules. It doesn't count. but Monday Night Raw counts for your suspension. She showed up against better judgment, broke the rules, like Matt Hardy did back in the day when he was kayfabe fired and then he was coming back and the WWE was trying to keep him from getting back into the company. But that's not what we're doing here. We got Ronda Rousey on suspension, not allowed on Raw, but she was on Raw tonight. Unnecessary? Yes. Does it make sense? No. And then again, it just gets worse. You got Kurt Angle coming out telling Ronda to go home. He's got to extend her suspension now by a week. Then you got Baron Corbin at the top of the ramp talking about calling Stephanie McMahon, but he don't have his phone. Then it turns into a comedy segment because Kurt has his phone. Suddenly we're in some old Laurel and Hardy fucking episode. Absolute ridiculousness. Baron Corbin being insistent that more be done. She needs more on a suspension. He's going to get to Stephanie and Kurt's going to pay for this. 1 minute this guy's a wrestler and he's complaining that he's not being put in the 6-man, double triple threat match madness that we had to go through tonight. And then the next minute he wants to be, part of running the show and calling Stephanie McMahon. What is it, bro? Are you going to be a wrestler or not? Change your clothes, put on your outfit and wrestle, or stay in your fucking penguin suit and just stay in the back and don't derail segments. I don't want to see Baron Corbin anymore. I don't care about the Constable Corbin thing. It sucks. It absolutely sucks to me. It's boring as hell. You had him go through this whole thing with Finn Balor to lose at Extreme Rules and follow it up with absolutely nothing but him now being pissed off and walking around like a whiny child because of Ronda Rousey. Why does Baron Corbin give a shit about what Kurt Angle is doing for the women's division? It doesn't make sense. I'm going to keep saying it. It doesn't make sense. And I hate it. Authors of Pain. You could hear a pin drop during that match. I don't know whether to blame the fact that they were fighting Titus O'Neil or to blame WWE's repetitive failure to book them in a proper manner. Authors of Pain come on Raw and win tonight in dominating fashion, beating Titus worldwide. What does it do for them? Nothing. The fact that the crowd had zero investment in the Authors of Pain, had zero reaction for the Authors of Pain, and could care less about this match through its entirety is a clear example of the failure of the WWE with every single thing that they touch that has come up from NXT. Which leads me to Ember Moon. Ember Moon was the next special thing that they had coming up from NXT as far as the women are concerned. She was following in the footsteps of Asuka, and I guess if you're following in those footsteps, you might as well put on a fucking clown suit and get ready to be made a jackass out of. Ember Moon lost tonight to Sarah Logan, Lady Braun Strowman. And I'm not calling her that because of her impressive strength or her monstrous size, but because of the fact that she literally, physically looks like a female, tiny Braun Strowman. Same haircut, same kind of, outfit. And then during this match, that actually wasn't too bad, because Sarah Logan actually does have a modicum of wrestling ability, and Ember Moon was bringing her to probably what was one of the better matches we have seen for the women's division. But do you know why you didn't care? Because the whole time, fucking the three idiots on the announce desk want to talk about how Sarah Logan's a Viking. You want to say, and listen to this sentence very carefully, because I'm not even sure how to describe it because it's so wrong. Sarah Logan sent an email to tell Michael Cole that she's a Viking. First of all, Vikings do not use computers, right? Because Vikings are extinct. I know that there's a lineage of Vikings, but there aren't big giant boats with big hairy men and women wearing pointed hats sailing the seas anymore. Just like there are no pirates, there are no Vikings. So she's not a Viking. We are not idiots, and we're not 5. But that's what this match was about, if you want to ask the announce team. Corey Graves is talking about her being a Viking. Then Michael Cole's talking about this fucking email he got. And then Corey Graves is like, you're an idiot. I just told everybody she's a Viking, and now you're telling everybody she's a Viking. And if I heard the word Viking, if that was the drinking game word you decided to use for tonight's Monday Night Raw, you were drunk within the first 30 seconds of this match. You give a shit that she was a Viking? Does it make her character more appealing? Does it give her depth or dimension? You know what would have done Sarah Logan some good? Instead of talking about her being a fucking Viking, why don't you talk about how she's competing with Ember Moon in the ring? Why don't you call moves? Why don't you let Corey Graves be a Jesse Ventura-esque wise ass? And tell Coachman to just shut up. I don't want to hear this kind of shit anymore. The Riot Squad without Ruby Riot is worthless. Liv Morgan with her Smurf blowing tongue. Nobody gives a shit how cute she is. I don't want to see her. Like I said, this match was actually going okay until the unthinkable happened. And Sarah Logan beats Ember Moon on Monday Night Raw. Ember Moon gets her first loss on the main roster, gets her shoulders pinned to the mat by somebody who hasn't even won a match yet. Ember Moon has been given not even a chance yet to shine on the main roster. And like I said, following in the footsteps of Asuka, becoming a highly touted women's wrestler from NXT seems to be a disadvantage more than an advantage, as much as a fucking ridiculous thing as that might seem for me to say. You would think being great down there would equal to greatness on the main roster, but as history shows, no matter who you point to, there is something wrong with every superstar that came from NXT. And they're all failing. From Finn Balor to Shinsuke Nakamura, all the way down the line to Bayley, Ember Moon, and Asuka. Nothing but failures. The Ascension, failures. Authors of Pain, failure. No Way Jose, failure. Mojo Rawley, failure. Nothing but failures. Because I think they're doing it intentionally. Because they're not the WWE's way of doing wrestling. I don't even get it. I don't get it. What else can I say? We have guys like Dolph Ziggler being resorted to quoting Black Sabbath lyrics because that's how truly uncreative they are. He was in an Iron Man match last night. Oh, let's reference Black Sabbath's Iron Man. That's current. That's in the now. That's modern and hip. Drew McIntyre executed a 6'5" somersault plancha. Let's talk about something that I did like. The athleticism of some of our favorite guys tonight. Seth Rollins was absolutely on fire. Another fantastic performance. He made all three guys, and they even made Bobby Lashley look pretty good in that matchup. At one point, picking up his big dopey ass and buckle bombing that giant son of a bitch. How can you tell me you don't want to see what he could do to Brock Lesnar? I don't understand it. There's nothing really else I could say about this fucking show. I tore it up as best I could. I'm trying to look through the notes to see if I missed anything. We talked about Sasha and Bayley and the disaster that is. I don't understand why bringing Dr. Shelby for 1 week and then dropping the whole thing, and now they're making up, I guess, and we're not even going to go down this road? You think we're going to give a shit if we start to go down this road again 6 months from now? What, are you trying to pause it and hold off until WrestleMania season? You missed it. You missed it. You had it. It was bubbling just underneath the surface. People were starting to get interested, and you failed it. Just like you're failing everything that you're doing on the main roster. You're failing the fans especially. Who wrote this show? This is a collective effort by some of the greatest minds in WWE creative? The show was atrocious. I don't want to talk about it anymore, you guys. After everything I had to see last night at Extreme Rules, and then this tonight was just almost too much. Almost fucking too much. You got the conga morons in the back bumping shoulders with the Riot Squad. This is what they're coming up with on Monday Night Raw. Garbage. Absolute garbage. I don't understand it. I'm fearful of tomorrow night. The build to SummerSlam is here, and it's already off to a rocketing start. Aren't you already excited for the lamest party of the summer? Don't worry about SummerSlam. The most important thing to worry about is, and the probably the best thing about SummerSlam this summer, at least on this channel, is it is time to start the SummerSlam subscription drive and getting us to 1K before SummerSlam Sunday. We're actually trying to go beyond 1K. Let's try to get this shit up as high as we can go. The greatest wrestling show on the planet needs to be filled with the greatest wrestling fans in the world. I already have 600 plus of those said greatest wrestling fans on the planet. I need you to join us right now. The Sledgehammer Club is always accepting new members. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button. Once you do that, hit the notification bell so that every single time a review or a news break or a top 5 list or an unboxing drops, you will be notified because you don't want to miss any of them. This is the home of the greatest subscription box unboxing show on the whole entire planet, maybe even in the entire universe. Nobody does an unboxing like Nick Nightmare, and if you missed June's unboxing and the unveiling of the SBS Championship belt, you need to go check that out. Right now, it is live on the channel. Make sure you check out our Extreme Rules review because the hammer came down hard on the lame attempt at being extreme for one night of the year. The WWE failed at that as well. You want to hear my thoughts on that? Go check that out. The Extreme Rules preview and prediction show, absolutely fantastic turnout. We had over 3,000 plus views on that over the weekend, and it's actually still climbing. I don't understand why. If you guys are watching the preview show, why aren't you watching the review show? You know, keep up to date. Watch the latest video. I don't understand that, although I am very gracious. And the giant influx of subscribers that we had over Extreme Rules weekend. Welcome to all of you guys, and I can't thank you enough. Now, if you are subscribed, make sure, as always, you raise your sledgehammers at home and smash that like button. Make sure the world knows that you enjoyed today's show, that you enjoy Sledgehammer TV, and that we are thumbs up with you. Then make sure to share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over this great wrestling world, especially if they hated Monday Night Raw and they can't stand boring Trashley and the big dog. Just like I can't. This is the place for them to be. Make sure you direct them to this spot. Make sure they subscribe as well and become a part of the greatest wrestling community that you will ever be a part of. And who is the curator of said community? Why, that would be me. And I am Nick Nightmare. I have the best team anywhere. And none of them give me any shit. None of them give me any back talk because they're inanimate objects, but still they have more personality than half of these clowns on the YWC, and they are Thor, the hammer of reason, the hammer of respect, and the hammer of reality, the wrestling god of thunder, and the official sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. My little buddy, my most trusted companion, I would never sound so good without a Mr. Blue the Snowball microphone, the world heavyweight champion of all the microphones in all the world. If you guys are listening to this show on our audio show, which is available on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, and Podbean, baby, make sure you get your eyeballs to Sledgehammer TV. That is youtube.com/Sledgehammer TV, and join in on the fun and subscribe to this channel. Make the SummerSlam subscribers drive to 1K and beyond, the biggest moment in Sledgehammer TV history. All I need is you guys to hit that button. You know what to do, so do it. Thank you guys all so very much for being a part of me and my channel for the last 2 years. We got big things coming up all summer long. Make sure you are here for everything. That, my friends, is going to do it. And we are out of here. And we will see you tomorrow night to bring the hammer down on SmackDown Live right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. We'll see you then.